Good morning. Welcome again to Morning Devotions, and thank you again so much for our time together. It's a beautiful Sunday morning. I know it's been a long weekend, but we'll be looking forward to seeing you in services today as we look at Paul entering the city of Athens, a city full of idols. And we're going to learn today how human philosophy flows from the wisdom of Satan. And all this ancient philosophy had at its source demonic influences in a city. We're going to see how Paul reacted to this, how Paul preached the gospel there, and we're going to close today with learning how that when we're just faithful to what we have in front of us, God creates great opportunities for us. But right now, let's go back to one of the great verses in the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 14. How much more then will the blood of Christ, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself unblemished to God, cleanse our consciences from acts that lead to death, so that, and what do you do every time you see some of that in the Bible? You circle it, shows purpose. For the purpose of, so that we may serve the living God. Every one of us has an awful past. Every one of us has things in our history that we are so ashamed of and we would never want to come out. But please forgive me, they're forgiven. God has washed us and God has cleansed us and God has changed us. But there's still been an effect upon our conscience. So God looks at us and says, I want you to understand something. You can never serve a living God with a bad conscience. And if you ask me what is probably the greatest thing that keeps Christians away from being involved consistently in service and ministry, it's their conscience. Now, I'm not talking about some. I mean, some people are so thick-faced and they're so calloused in their conscience that they can stand up and sing while they're living in sexual sin and getting drunk every night, But I'm talking about the average Christian. Oftentimes, because you think about your past, you think about the things you've done, and your conscience hinders you from serving God. I want you to understand today that the blood of Jesus cleanses your conscience. The blood of Jesus cleanses your conscience so that you can serve a living God. That's why every time we celebrate communion together at Cathedral of Praise, I remind you of this simple truth. The blood of Jesus cleanses your conscience. The blood of Jesus has washed all of the hurt, all of the embarrassment, all of the shame, has washed all that away from your conscience. Because God's purpose of cleansing you was so that you can serve a living God.